2 Chronicles Chapter 1. And Solomon the son of David was strengthened in his kingdom, and Jehovah his God was with him and magnified him exceedingly. And Solomon spoke to all Israel, to the captains of thousands and of hundreds and to the judges and to every leader of all Israel, the heads of the fathers' houses. And Solomon and all the assembly with him went up to the high place that was in Gibeon, for the tent of meeting of God was there, which Moses the servant of Jehovah had made in the wilderness. However, David had brought up the Ark of God from Kiriath-jearim to the place that David had prepared for it, for he had pitched a tent for it in Jerusalem. And the bronze altar that Bezalel the son of Uri, the son of Hur, had made was there before the tabernacle of Jehovah, and Solomon and the assembly inquired at it. And Solomon went up there before Jehovah to the bronze altar, which was at the tent of meeting, and he offered upon it 1,000 burnt offerings. During that night God appeared to Solomon and said to him, "Ask what I should give you." And Solomon said to God, "You have shown great loving kindness to David my father and have made me king in his place. And now, O Jehovah God, may your promise to David my father be fulfilled, for you have made me king over a people as numerous as the dust of the earth. Now give me wisdom and knowledge, that I may go out and come in before this people, for who can judge this great people of yours?" Then God said to Solomon, "Because this is on your heart and you have not asked for riches, wealth, or honor, nor for the life of those who hate you, nor have you even asked for long life, but have asked for wisdom and knowledge for yourself so that you may judge my people over whom I have made you king. Wisdom and knowledge are granted to you, and riches and wealth and honor I will give you, such as no kings who were before you have had, nor any after you will have." Then Solomon came to Jerusalem from the high place that was in Gibeon, from the tent of meeting, and he reigned over Israel. And Solomon gathered chariots and horsemen together, and he had 1,400 chariots and 12,000 horsemen, which he stationed in the chariot cities and with the king at Jerusalem. And the king caused silver and gold to be as plentiful as stones in Jerusalem, and cedars, like the sycamores that are in the lowlands. And the horses that Solomon had came from Egypt and from Ch. The king's traders bought them from Ch at a fixed price. And they could import from Egypt a chariot for 600 shekels of silver and a horse for 150 shekels, and thus they brought them out to all the kings of the Hittites and the kings of Syria by their own means. 2 Chronicles Chapter 2. Now Solomon purposed to build a house for the name of Jehovah and his royal palace. And Solomon counted out 70,000 men to bear burdens and 80,000 men as stonecutters in the mountains and 3,600 men to oversee them. And Solomon sent word to Hiram the king of Tyre, saying, "As you did to David my father, in that you sent him cedars to build a house for him to dwell in, so do for me. I am now about to build a house for the name of Jehovah my God to sanctify to him, for the burning of fragrant incense before him and the arranging of the rows of bread continually and the offering up of burnt offerings in the morning and in the evening, on Sabbaths and on new moons and on the appointed feasts of Jehovah our God, this being an ordinance for Israel forever. And the house which I am building will be great, for greater is our God than all the gods. But who is able to build him a house? For the heavens and the heaven of heavens is not able to contain him. And who am I, that I should build him a house, except to burn incense before him? So now send me a man, skillful in working with gold and with silver and with bronze and with iron and with purple and crimson and blue cloth, and who knows how to make engravings, to be with the skillful men who are with me in Judah and in Jerusalem, whom David my father prepared. Send me timber of cedar, cypress, and algum from Lebanon, for I know that your servants know how to cut the timber of Lebanon. And now my servants will be with your servants, to prepare for me timber in abundance, for the house which I am building will be great and wonderful. And now I will give to your servants, the hewers who cut timber, 20,000 cores of crushed wheat and 20,000 cores of barley and 20,000 baths of wine and 20,000 baths of oil. And Hiram the king of Tyre answered by letter, sending it to Solomon, saying, Because Jehovah loves his people, he has made you king over them. Hiram also said, Blessed be Jehovah the God of Israel, who made the heavens and the earth, who has given King David a wise son endowed with discernment and understanding, who will build a house for Jehovah and his royal palace. And now I have sent a skillful man, endowed with understanding, Hiram the son of a woman of the daughters of Dan, whose father is a man of Tyre, who knows how to work in gold and in silver and in bronze and in iron, in stones and in wood, in purple, in blue cloth, and in fine linen and in crimson cloth, and who knows how to make all kinds of engraving, and to fashion any design which is given to him, to work with your skillful men and the skillful men of my lord David your father. And now let my lord send to his servants the wheat and the barley, the oil and the wine of which he spoke. And we will cut whatever timber you need from Lebanon and bring it to you on rafts by sea to Joppa, and you can bring it up to Jerusalem. And Solomon numbered all the men who were sojourners who were in the land of Israel after the census which David his father had made of them, and they found 153,600. And he appointed 70,000 of them as burden-bearers and 80,000 as stonecutters in the mountains, and 3,600 overseers to make the people work. 2 Chronicles Chapter 3. And Solomon began to build the house of Jehovah in Jerusalem on Mount Moriah, where he had appeared to David his father, at the place that David prepared, on the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite. And he began to build on the 2nd day of the 2nd month in the 4th year of his reign. And these are the foundations which Solomon laid to build the house of God. The length in cubits, according to the former standard, was 60 cubits, and it was 20 cubits wide. And the portico that was at the front was as long as the width of the house, 20 cubits, and its height was 120 cubits. And he overlaid it within with pure gold. And the greater house he overlaid with cypress wood, and he overlaid it with fine gold and put palm trees and chains on it. And he adorned the house with precious stones for beauty, and the gold was gold from Parvaim. And he overlaid the house the beams, the thresholds, and its walls and its doors with gold, and he carved cherubim on the walls. And he made the house of the Holy of Holies, its length, across the width of the house, was 20 cubits, and its width was 20 cubits, and he overlaid it with fine gold amounting to 600 talents. And the weight of the nails was 50 shekels of gold, and the upper chambers he overlaid with gold. And he made 2 cherubim of sculptured work in the house of the Holy of Holies, and they overlaid them with gold. And the wingspan of the cherubim was 20 cubits, the wing of one, of 5 cubits, touched the wall of the house, and its other wing, of 5 cubits, touched the wing of the other cherub. And the wing of the other cherub, of 5 cubits, touched the wall of the house, and its other wing, of 5 cubits, was attached to the wing of the first cherub. The wings of these cherubim were spread out 20 cubits in length, and they stood on their feet, and their faces were toward the house. And he made the veil of blue and purple and crimson cloth and fine linen, and he put cherubim upon it. And at the front of the house he made 2 pillars, 35 cubits high, and the capital that was on the top of each was 5 cubits high. And he made chains in the innermost sanctuary and set them on the tops of the pillars, and he made 100 pomegranates and put them on the chains. And he erected the pillars in front of the temple, one on the right and one on the left, and he called the name of the one on the right Jachin and the name of the one on the left Boaz. 2 Chronicles Chapter 4. And he made an altar of bronze, its length was 20 cubits, and its width was 20 cubits, and its height was 10 cubits. And he made the molten sea, 10 cubits from brim to brim, fully round, and it was 5 cubits high, and a line of 30 cubits encompassed it. And under it there were figures of oxen all around, encircling it, for 10 cubits, surrounding the sea all around. The oxen were cast in 2 rows when they were cast. It stood upon 12 oxen, 3 facing north and 3 facing west and 3 facing south and 3 facing east, and the sea was upon them, and all their hindquarters were within. And it was a handbreadth thick, and its brim was like the work of a cup's brim, like the flower of a lily, it could hold 3,000 baths. And he made 10 basins in which to wash, to rinse the things for the burnt offering, and he set 5 on the right and 5 on the left, but the sea was for the priests to wash in. Then he made the 10 golden lampstands according to the ordinance for them, and he put them in the temple, 5 on the right and 5 on the left. And he made 10 tables and placed them in the temple, 5 on the right and 5 on the left, and he made 100 golden bowls. And he made the court of the priests and the great court and the doors of the court, and he overlaid their doors with bronze. And he put the sea on the right side of the house, on the east side southward. And Hiram made the pots and the shovels and the bowls. Thus Hiram finished doing the work that he was doing for King Solomon in the house of God. The 2 pillars and the bowls and the 2 capitals that were at the top of the pillars and the 2 networks to cover the 2 bowls of the capitals that were at the top of the pillars. And the 400 pomegranates for the 2 networks, 2 rows of pomegranates for each network, to cover the 2 bowls of the capitals that were on the pillars. He also made the bases, and he made the basins upon the bases. And the 1 sea and the 12 oxen under it. And the pots and the shovels and the forks and all their vessels that Hiramarbi made for King Solomon for the house of Jehovah were of burnished bronze. The king cast them in the plain of the Jordan, in the clay ground between Succos and Zereda. And Solomon made all these vessels in great number, for the weight of bronze could not be ascertained. And Solomon made all the vessels that were in the house of God, the golden altar, and the tables upon which the bread of the presence was put. And the lampstands and their lamps of pure gold to burn according to their ordinance before the innermost sanctuary. And the flowers and the lamps and the tongs, of gold, of purest gold. And the snuffers and the bowls and the spoons and the fire pans, of pure gold, and the entrance of the house, its innermost doors for the Holy of Holies, and the doors of the house of the temple, of gold.